Hey everyone! A potent storm system is set to sweep across the United States in the coming days, bringing a multitude of hazards, including a notable threat of severe weather. This volatile pattern kicks off today and extends through Wednesday with the potential for destructive winds, large-scale hail, and tornadoes. Additionally, this system will dump heavy snowfall, which could lead to hazardous winter storm conditions across portions of the Midwest. In today's forecast, we'll break down exactly what you need to know about the developing weather that will impact the U.S. over the next 7 days. We'll start with today's conditions, where things are already intensifying across the southern plains. A storm system currently positioned over New Mexico is expected to bring a conditional risk of a tornado or two, along with damaging winds, as it progresses into Texas and Oklahoma later today. We'll dive into more details on that shortly. Meanwhile, the East Coast is relatively calm for now, but that will change by Tuesday and Wednesday when the powerful storm system barrels into the region. Over on the West Coast, there's scattered rain and snow showers, but conditions are nowhere near as intense as they were throughout most of February, when a series of atmospheric river events unleashed significant precipitation. Now, let's zero in on the severe weather potential for the coming days. Starting today, the Storm Prediction Center has elevated the risk level to a slight risk for severe storms in western Oklahoma and eastern Texas, primarily due to a tornado threat. There is a chance for an isolated tornado or two, with the greatest risk just northwest of Wichita Falls near Elk City, Oklahoma. Be sure to have a tornado preparedness plan in place today. While there's a low likelihood that we'll go live for this event, if a storm poses a legitimate tornado threat, we may stream live to provide coverage, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Looking ahead to tomorrow, another round of severe storms is on the horizon. In my opinion, this one could be more significant than some are expecting, particularly because storms are forecast to intensify during the overnight hours, from Monday night into early Tuesday morning. The risk zone stretches from southern Kansas into North Texas, and the Storm Prediction Center has also upgraded this risk to a slight risk for central and southern Oklahoma, as well as northern Texas. The primary concern remains destructive winds, but there is also a tornado risk in this area. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 5% tornado risk upgrade in future outlooks, given the strong wind shear expected in this region early Tuesday morning. The biggest uncertainty in this setup is the storm mode and timing. Storms may develop so late at night that instability remains limited. However, this is still a setup worth closely monitoring, and if storms become more intense than anticipated, we could even go live early Tuesday morning to track the situation in real time. By Tuesday, we expect the most significant day for severe weather concentrated in the Mississippi River Valley. The Storm Prediction Center has been adjusting the placement of the enhanced risk zone, which is now more concentrated over Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. This is where the greatest threat of destructive winds and tornadoes is expected. However, this isn't a straightforward forecast. While there is plenty of wind shear, the latest computer models suggest that instability and moisture levels from the Gulf of Mexico are not as substantial as previously projected. This has lowered confidence in just how intense this severe weather event will ultimately be. That being said, Tuesday is still shaping up to be a significant day for severe weather. The ceiling for this event, meaning the worst case scenario, now appears lower than what was possible just a few days ago. At one point, a high risk classification was in play, but due to recent model downgrades, the overall intensity may not reach that extreme level. One important note: the severe weather risk extends all the way north into Kansas City, though limited moisture and instability in areas like central Illinois and Indiana mean the risk of strong storms in those areas is low. That's some good news for those further north. However, across the lower Mississippi River Valley, damaging winds remain the primary concern, and tornadoes, potentially strong ones, are still a possibility. We'll gain better clarity in the next 24 hours as we receive short-term model guidance, which will help us fine-tune the forecast. By Wednesday, the final round of severe weather will sweep from Florida and Georgia up to New Jersey, bringing threats of damaging winds, hail, and a few tornadoes. This will be a daytime event, with the most active period occurring from late morning into the early to mid-afternoon. While this day won't be as significant as Monday night into Tuesday, it's still important to stay prepared, have a severe weather plan, and multiple ways to receive alerts and warnings. Overall, this storm system is unusually intense for early March, with plenty of instability fueling the severe weather. A key change in the forecast over the past 24 hours is that peak instability is now expected to occur late Monday night into early Tuesday morning. This shift increases the chance that the strongest storms may develop earlier in the day on Tuesday, rather than holding off until the afternoon and evening. That doesn't mean Tuesday afternoon and evening will be quiet, but we may see significant storms firing off earlier, especially in Oklahoma and Texas, where sufficient instability will be present. More than anything, we're expecting a fast-moving line of thunderstorms with damaging winds as the primary concern, along with embedded tornadoes as wind shear increases when the storm system moves over the Rocky Mountains Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, take note of how the instability levels drop significantly further north. There's a clear cutoff with increased cloud cover limiting conditions in the northern regions. Meanwhile, the greatest instability is concentrated closer to the Gulf Coast. However, this could still change before our next update, so keep that in mind. We've seen fluctuations in the computer models, and with the northwestern Gulf currently experiencing above average sea surface temperatures, this could fuel additional instability. Still, I see some challenges with this setup, particularly regarding moisture availability further north. Regardless, I expect the lower Mississippi River Valley to face the most substantial severe weather risk on Tuesday, with lingering instability pushing into the East Coast by Wednesday. However, instability levels on the East Coast appear to be limited, suggesting the primary concern will likely be strong winds. That said, I'm not entirely convinced we'll see a well-organized severe weather outbreak by Wednesday. It may end up being scattered, damaging wind events with a few isolated tornadoes. One of the most striking features of this storm system is the intensity of the low-level jet. Take a look at the wind pattern Tuesday morning. The southwesterly flow across the southern plains will be incredibly strong. If any discrete storm cells develop Tuesday morning, although the chance is low, they would form in a highly favorable environment for tornadoes, given the ample instability. Later in the day, as we shift into Tuesday afternoon and evening, this intensified low-level jet will shift into Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Louisiana. This means that any discrete or semi-discrete supercells that manage to form will have a high likelihood of rotation. And if they do, they could easily spawn tornadoes. The big question, however, is whether we'll see a high number of discrete supercells, or if this will evolve into a more linear storm mode, forming a long line of thunderstorms. If it trends toward a linear system, we could see a setup similar to the recent Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama storms, where damaging winds were the primary threat, with some embedded tornadoes within the squall line, severe weather timing, and tornado risk. Looking at the overnight forecast from Monday into Tuesday, I want to emphasize the high significant tornado parameter STP values. However, since storms aren't expected to develop in that environment overnight, the setup won't be fully utilized for tornado formation. If for any reason the trough speeds up beyond its current forecast, we could even be looking at a tornado outbreak Monday night. Fortunately, that scenario isn't currently expected. By midnight Monday into early Tuesday, a line of thunderstorms is likely to develop across Oklahoma and Texas, with damaging winds as the primary hazard. There's also a low-end tornado threat. If discrete cells form ahead of the main storm line, the risk of tornadoes will increase early Tuesday morning. I wouldn't be surprised if this trend shifts in future updates, potentially leading to a more significant tornado risk for Oklahoma and Texas by Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, the greatest tornado threat will shift into the lower Mississippi River Valley, while areas further north, Missouri, Arkansas, and Tennessee, face a conditional tornado risk due to moisture and instability limitations. However, even with lower instability, the presence of strong wind shear could still support tornado formation if conditions shift. Storm progression and expected impacts. By Tuesday afternoon and evening, expect a bowing segment of showers and thunderstorms to move into Oklahoma and Texas. Behind this, we may see isolated storm cells attempting to develop later in the afternoon. The peak threat window will be between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., particularly in southwestern Oklahoma. Any storms that manage to form in this area could produce isolated tornadoes and damaging winds before weakening overnight. Heading into Tuesday night, a well-defined line of thunderstorms is forecast to develop, most likely after midnight, stretching across Oklahoma and Texas. The main hazards will remain damaging winds with an isolated tornado risk still on the table. If any discrete storm cells develop ahead of the main line, we could see an escalation in severe weather risk. By Tuesday morning, we'll be watching closely to see if more intense thunderstorms develop. If instability is higher than currently forecasted, we could be looking at a more dangerous situation. Take care, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow with a new update. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment. See you